This is Lessons in the Challenges of Leadership, the series that enables managers to achieve the remarkable. Podcast, video, short reads. Conceived, developed and presented by Siebert Neathling.
I once worked with a legendary rugby player. He had already retired from the game and was working in a major listed company. At the time, my own sons were playing rugby and were quite successful, and I was intrigued by the layers of skill and accomplishment in the sport. Thousands of schoolboys play the game. Then some of them take it into post-school, some of whom end up playing for professional teams, and only a few progress to the national team. In the time that I was close to the game, young boys who looked like they were going to be great fell by the wayside, and others, okay but not exceptional, kept improving and ended up at the pinnacle of their sport. I asked what the difference was between him and the other equally capable players who were his peers but who did not make it as far as he did. And he told me about visiting a sumo wrestling school on a tour to Japan and having it explained to him that to be a great sumo wrestler, you need three things. You need physique, the size, weight, and strength to be competitive in that very physical sport. You need technique. You have to study and perfect the many skills required to attack, to counter different moves by your opponent, to exploit weaknesses, and to deceive others into anticipating one approach while attacking with a different. And the third ingredient, you need spirit. The burning desire to be the best you can be, to adhere to the strict discipline, to excel, to become great. Physique, technique, spirit. When I look back on the many kids I saw play rugby and the very few who went on to become heroes of their sport, that simple triad applies perfectly. Many had the spirit and technique, but simply did not have the physical attributes and the strength to become great. You can train for speed and you can spend more time in the gym than others do, but there are limits imposed by your genetics, your bone structure, the potential speed at which your synapses fire. Others had the physique and the spirit, but their kinesthetic intelligence was just not high enough to develop the ball skills and the complex techniques of the game. And very often, players had the physique and the technique, but lacked the spirit, the extraordinary amount of drive and desire to succeed. It takes true dedication to persist through pain, injuries, self-doubt, setbacks, and constant competition. The physique, technique, spirit. I'm yet to find a better explanation for performance. Yes, there are environmental and contextual factors, but every person I have ever met who had achieved great things had a combination of all three. In sport, physique is important, but in other spheres, it might be creativity or one of the many different forms of intelligence. Technique? Well, every job has skills to be perfected, using a specific kind of software or running a workshop, writing a report, negotiating a contract. And spirit? Well, that's mindset, motivation. So let's refer to attributes, skills, and motivation. I've employed many people in my career, and the greatest of those, the ones who truly excelled, had an innate intelligence and creativity, had developed the skills of their chosen jobs to a very high level, and had the desire to be great at their work. Simple as that. So this suggests that performance is entirely the result of intrinsic factors. You can develop and improve, but it remains inherently personal, and there's much to be said for that approach. But as with most things in life, it is more complicated. Later, we will look at the performance of teams and organizations, but let's first delve deeper into individual performance. The attribute, skills, motivation approach helps to explain how many people perform very well by compensating for weaknesses. I think we have all seen that raw intelligence, for example, is a very poor predictor of success. Often the one who is not the smartest in the room, but who has developed great emotional intelligence and people skills, has developed expertise, and is highly motivated to succeed, ends up being the most successful. And in most environments, people can compensate for shortcomings and can do very well, provided there is a baseline of raw ability. And this brings me to one of the greatest insights from studying many fascinating theories of motivation, from Freud and Jung to Herzberg and Maslow, and from equity theory to temporal motivation theory and action control theory. There's a lot out there. But there is only one thing that motivates all people. What is it? I've asked this question of many groups over the years. Is it money? I don't think so. I know many people who do jobs that don't pay much, even though they are able to earn more. Is it meaning? I'd like to think so, but it definitely doesn't apply to everyone. Is that what motivates the cyber criminal, for example? Is it happiness? Well, I know a lot of people who seem to revel in misery and do things that clearly won't make them happier. Is it power or influence? There are too many people voluntarily living in fringe communities, checked out from the rush of the world, to make that a universal motivator. So what is the one thing that motivates everyone? It's simple. More. More of whatever it is that motivates you. If money is important to you, you will be motivated by more money. If prestige and recognition motivate you, you will be motivated by a position that offers you a prestigious title and public acknowledgement. And if meaningful work motivates you, a role with a clear link to something meaningful will motivate you. If you crave stability and security, an environment that offers you that will be attractive. It sounds like a simplistic answer to a trick question, but it is actually quite profound, especially since everyone's more is dynamic, not static. If you feel secure and confident, you might not crave recognition, but if circumstances change and you feel threatened in your role, you might seek greater acknowledgement. And when you're young, earning more money might be a great motivator if you're trying to save for an overseas holiday. And during uncertain times, job security might be more of a motivator. If your more is excitement, then more adventure would be motivating, but later in your life, stability and job security would be more important. So what is your more at this stage of your career? And if you're a leader, what is the more of those you lead? It is going to be different for different people, and someone's more today is not necessarily going to be their more tomorrow. Now, how do you know what someone's more is? Well, don't worry. They'll tell you, as long as you have enough time and opportunity to listen. In formal reviews, you can ask people. Now, please don't ask, what is your more? Ask somebody what their highlight has been over the past few months. What have they really enjoyed doing? That'll tell you a lot. Now, we can't always satisfy everyone's more. If you could give people only the type of work that motivates them, there is a chance some things will never get done. Sometimes the menial tasks are the fees we pay to be able to do the exciting things. So, in the attributes, skills, and motivation triad, leaders can play a meaningful part in identifying what motivates people and tailoring work to better satisfy that more. And as for skills, you have to train and provide opportunities for people to learn and develop the skills needed to perform at a high level. And as for attributes, you have to do your very best when you recruit to ensure you attract and select those with the right attributes. You can train for skills and support motivation, but you can do very little about attributes like intelligence and creativity. But if you've inherited a team and you don't get to do the selection, what do you do then? Well, I once attended a meeting where a newly recruited executive complained about the team he was given to lead. Rather than sympathizing, the senior leader in the room asked, "So what did you expect? A perfect team?" The tone made it very clear that it was naive to anticipate perfection. I can't recall who said it, but I like this quote. There is no such thing as the perfect employee. Leadership is achieving great things with the employees you've got. Now, in the next session, we'll go through a diagnostic instrument to discover why someone underperforms, and we'll discuss what to do about it. See you then.